Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing last night's game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. However, before I get too far into it, I would like to remind you all to leave a like and subscribe. I've been appreciating all the support that I've been receiving lately, and I hope to see that continue. Now, without further ado, let's hop into the video. And oh boy, was this a fun game to watch. We saw two stars in Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic really go blow for blow with one another, as both finished with double-doubles and 35-plus point outings. And it was just really fun to see these two European-born players who are really just redefining the art of the assist in the NBA. Trade off terrific offensive plays. And I guess we'll start with the guy whose team won in Luka Doncic. He posted 38 points, 9 assists, and 13 rebounds tonight on 13 for 22 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, 10 for 15 from the line. Luka was just absolutely terrific. Once again, his three-point shots weren't going in at the rate that you'd like to see them. 2 for 7 isn't anything super incredible, but he did hit 2 threes, which is right up there with his best performances of the year from beyond the arc. I'm not too worried about with him, though. We've seen that he is an above-average shooter, and although his efficiency-wise he's been below average, that's because of the difficulty of the shots that he's taking. So I think that we will see him regress back to the mean, which in this case means, improving his shot and knocking down more of those three-point looks and getting that three-point percentage to a much more respectable rate. But outside of that, his scoring game was absolutely terrific tonight. On 2-point attempts, he was 11 for 15. We saw him really utilize that mid-range shot that he's able to be so effective in, both off of the pick and roll and off of isolations. He was terrific with his floater game tonight, knocked down a couple of those teardrop looks over Nikola Jokic, who obviously isn't the most skilled rim protector and shot blocker, but it was nice to see Luka be able to take advantage of Jokic's suspect pick and roll defense. He also made a couple terrific passes, finishing with 13 assists, and although he did put up 8 turnovers, with the assist numbers and the amount of game where the ball is in Luka's hands, he is going to accumulate some turnover statistics. This Dallas offense is just so oriented through him at this point, and it's perhaps even more of a heliocentric look than what we've seen from James Harden with the Houston Rockets over the last couple of years. Essentially, every single possession for the Mavericks either comes with a Luka Doncic shot, a Luka Doncic potential assist, or a Luka Doncic potential hockey assist. There are no plays where Luka is off the ball, and obviously it's working for this Mavericks team, as tonight they picked up a nice win over a very good Nuggets team. However, if Luka gets in foul trouble, or if he is injured for any stretch of time, God forbid that from happening, or if he is swarmed on the offensive end of the floor and is unable to score, if there's an absolute lockdown defender on him, there's not too many alternative options for this Mavericks team when it comes to initiating offense. I like Jalen Brunson quite a bit, and I think that he's someone who's very competent as a pick-and-roll initiator, but he doesn't have the same isolation scoring ability as someone like Luka. He also doesn't seem to be particularly effective thus far this season, as he hasn't put up too many great performances. I'd like to see this team try to get him some more touches, because I think that he is probably the most effective secondary creator on this team, and I think that he's going to be very valuable and very important to this team's success because of that creation ability, both when Luka's off the floor and when Luka has the ball taken out of his hands. With Jalen Brunson, he can take on a bit of that burden, and I'd like to see him get the ball a bit more. Josh Richardson is the other candidate for that role. I just am not quite sure that he has the requisite decision-making and playmaking abilities to be that pick and roll initiator or isolation initiator that you would need from a secondary ball handling option off of Luka. Richardson also is not quite in the same league as Brunson as a ball handler, which can lead to him being a bit more turnover prone, as Brunson is also just a great decision maker and posts very low turnover rates. So I would like to see Brunson carry a bit more of an offensive workload, and I think that the Mavericks' best five-man lineup probably features Jalen Brunson. This might be an unpopular opinion, especially after tonight where Maxi Kleber was absolutely outstanding down the stretch in the fourth quarter and overtime. He only finished with single-digit points. I think the announcer said he had 9 points for the game. But two of the threes that he hit were absolutely huge down the stretch in the fourth quarter. In the overtime period, he was chasing down offensive rebounds, making terrific decisions in the flow of the offense. There was one play where he caught a pass from Luka and could have taken a contested three, but instead he swung it over to Josh Richardson in the corner, and Richardson hit a three that put the Mavericks up by 6 and really iced the game. So Kleber's a terrific role player, and I'm not taking anything away from him, and he was terrific tonight. But I still think that when this team is fully healthy, the best five-man lineup they can trot out there consists of Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis is able to space the floor from the big man position and be the screen setter in two-man game actions. At the 4, you have Finney-Smith, who can take on numerous different matchups. He can essentially guard 1 through 4 at a very high level, and he can space the floor and attack closeouts on the offensive end. At the 3, you have Richardson, who's similar to Finney-Smith, can take on difficult matchups on the perimeter, as well as be a plus team defender. And on offense, another guy who can attack closeouts, is not necessarily an initiator, but can play in an off-the-ball role at a pretty solid level. And then you have Brunson and Doncic in the backcourt as two guys who can handle the ball quite a bit, aren't terrific perimeter defenders, but this group has enough perimeter defense in Finney-Smith and Richardson to make up for that. And on the offensive end, having two guys out there who can really handle it, really make plays for their teammates, could be quite beneficial to this team. I think they're underutilizing Jalen Brunson, and I'd like to see him get a bit more run with the starting lineup for this team. Finally, I touched on him a little bit in that past segment, but I want to talk about Dorian Finney-Smith a little bit more. I think that he's one of the more underrated players in the entire NBA. He's able to take on very difficult matchups, guarding the best perimeter player on the opposing team night in and night out. Last year, we saw him absolutely shut down Paul George in the series against the Clippers during the playoffs. So far this season, he's taken on difficult matchups guarding anyone from LeBron James to tonight it was Jamal Murray, and he did a great job on Jamal Murray and really took him out of the Nuggets offense for large portions of the game. So his ability to be a blend in and play his role type guy alongside star players like a Luka Doncic is invaluable. And tonight he had a really nice game, putting up 14 points, where 4 of his 5 made shots came on 3-point attempts, where he was 4 for 8 from long range. He also put up 8 rebounds and was an impactful defensive player, jumping in passing lanes and getting 3 steals, as well as being a good weak side rim protector, where he posted 2 blocks. So Dorian Finney-Smith is a very underrated player. The Mavericks did a terrific job in locking him up on a very cheap contract moving forward, and I think that he really helps his team out and makes them quite a bit better, just as that Swiss Army knife, do-it-all type player. Also, he's athletic enough to attack closeouts on the offensive end, and that really can be underrated in role players sometimes, and can take players from being spot-up guys to someone who can shoot threes and also do a bit more. So big Dorian Finney-Smith fan here, and I'm excited to see him continue to blossom in his role as a terrific fifth starter for this Dallas team. Moving over to Denver, Nikola Jokic had a great game tonight, finishing with 38 points and 11 rebounds. 11 rebounds, I believe. Yeah. Okay, and then he was 14 of 31 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and 6 for 10 from the free throw line. I'm going to repeat that. 14 of 31 from the field. He had the ball in his hands quite a bit tonight and really went to work in the post as we saw him bring out the full bag. He had the skyhook shot, as was really loved by Grant Hill on the broadcast tonight. He was knocking down mid-range shots. He finished with 6 3-point makes, and as always, he got to the rack a little bit as well. So great scoring game from Jokic. Made a few high-level reads, finding Will Barton or Gary Harris for 3-point looks. Harris wasn't necessarily knocking them down tonight, but I did think that he had a sneaky good performance attacking closeouts. He finished with 15 points and was pretty effective on the offensive end despite his shots not falling once again from the arc. So it's good to see him adapting and finding other ways to be impactful in the offense, but he's got to improve that shooting stroke in order to be a true weapon for this team. But Jokic was really good tonight, and you can't ask for much more out of him than this 38 and 11 performance. But the guy who I think you can ask for a little bit more out of is Jamal Murray. Murray finished with 21 points and 9 assists on 8 for 19 shooting, 3 for 9 from 3. And although that stat line sounds solid, 21 points, 13 of those came in the first quarter. And although he did start taking some more shots and becoming more involved in the offense down the stretch, for large portions of this game, it felt like Jamal Murray was invisible. And although I do give a large portion of the credit for that fact to Dorian Finney-Smith, who did a great job defending him, Murray has to be more assertive in the offense and look for his own shot quite a bit more. He got pretty hot in the first half and was knocking down shots at a high level, and I was like, oh man, we might see a bubble Jamal Murray performance tonight. But after that, he really just wasn't asserting himself in the offense, and this Nuggets team needs him to play like the strong second option that he was in the bubble in order for them to really reach their ceiling as a championship level contender. And this just isn't going to get it done from Jamal Murray. When Michael Porter Jr. is out there as well, it gives them another option as a shot creator, scorer for your team. But in Porter's absence, Murray needed to step up tonight, and he could not do it. Outside of that, I don't have too much new to say about the Nuggets. I think that Murray needs to step up his play, as I said before, but the role players are doing their jobs. Off the bench, we saw some nice performances from PJ Dozier and Monte Morris, and Will Barton had a solid game for this team. Played good defense and knocked down his 3-point shots when they were there. Didn't try to do too much, but also was pretty solid in his role. Paul Millsap had a solid game, always a plus defender, and wasn't too big of an impactful guy on the offensive end. In very few minutes, I was very intrigued by what I saw from Isaiah Hartenstein. Hartenstein is a super intriguing option as a backup center because he's still young, he's still improving, he has a terrific motor, and he plays very hard. We saw him post a couple blocked shots, grabbed some offensive rebounds, and I think that this guy's pretty intriguing, and he could end up being a very, very solid option as a backup center. I don't see a ceiling for him as a starter in this league, but as a plus offensive backup who can maybe bring some stuff defensively, he could be valuable. The only problem that I really see here is a foul-prone tendency, which is not super encouraging, and he also plays with a hunched back all the time, which was pretty interesting to watch, but not necessarily the best for his impact. So that might be something he has to figure out, but it also might just be part of the way that he plays and is an incorrigible thing. But certainly a little bit of interest in Hartenstein as a backup big man. I would have liked to see Facundo Campasso play, but he was a DNP tonight. Not sure if that was due to injury or coach's decision, but he was not on the court at all tonight, and I hope that the next time the Nuggets are on national TV, I believe we have an epic mashup between the two best centers on Saturday, Nikola Jokic versus Joel Embiid. Hopefully Campasso can find his way onto the court during that game. Pretty fun game tonight. It was great to see Luka and Jokic trading blows, going back and forth as the lethal offensive weapons that they are. And it was a terrifically exciting overtime game, and you couldn't ask for much more out of a nightcap game. I think that I have covered everything that I wanted to cover, so let me know what you thought of this game in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. That's going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you all again very soon.